Welcome to the Video Pro guys, my name is Mark and today we're going to take a look at some affordable lenses for your camera. So you're on the market to get some nice lenses for your camera, cine camera, whatever, but you're not quite ready to invest like $3,000 for a set of 6 Rokinon lenses. Good point, I wasn't there neither. Here's my set of lenses. Those are all Pentax Takumar M42 lenses. Why those old Pentax M42 lenses? First, these lenses are all metal housing. These are glass lenses. These are not plastic cheap lenses. Because they are M42 mount, they can easily be adapted to EF mount. All you have to do is to screw this adapter on your lens and they are EF mount already, nothing else. It's pretty simple. By the way, those adapter rings usually cost like $1 each. It's ridiculous. I've just talked about price. 6 Rokinon lenses for like $3,000. That's a lot of money. I've built this set over months. Here I have 11 lenses for a little bit under $2,000. This actually includes all of the adapter rings to get the EF mounts, the rear caps, the gear to use a follow focus, the 77mm step-up rings to use those larger lens caps. So 11 lenses under $2,000 compared to 6 Rokinon lenses at an average price of $3,000. All right, so all of those lenses are not the fastest available. If I compare them to the Rokinon are usually f1.5, 2.0, something like this. My fastest lenses is the 50mm f1.4. I have the 20, 24, 28 f3.5, the 35 f2.0, 85 f1.9, 105 f2.8, 135 f2.5, 150, 200, and 300 f4. So these are not fast lenses, but for the price, in my case, using slower lenses wasn't much of an issue. Alright, so why using these old M42 lenses? Simple answer, the M42 mount can easily be adapted to Canon, EF, Nikon, or even Micro Four Thirds mounts. So if you're on a shoot and you need to use a camera that is not EF mount, all you have to do is have an extra adapter to Nikon or even Micro Four Thirds. So you simply unscrew your EF adapter, screw the Nikon or Micro Four Thirds adapter on your lens, snap that lens onto that camera, and you're all ready to shoot. You can have one set of lenses that can fit multiple mounts, which is not the case of the Rokinon. You buy a set of lenses with a specific mount and you're stuck with it. This is something that I personally find very useful. I don't plan to use it every day on every single shoot, but if one day I have to use those lenses on a different camera body than my Canon C100, I can. All I have to do is have an extra adapter ring. Alright, so if you plan to use M42 lenses as custom cine lenses, is this a perfect solution? Absolutely not. So because those are photo lenses, they have a lens breathing when you actually focus them. This is not something that you will find on a proper cine lenses. So this is actually one downside of using old photo lenses. You just have to use a flexible donut on a matte box and you're already good to go. So if we take a look at that lens, you'll never be able to use a flexible donut all around that lens because there's nothing that will keep the flexible donut in place. So what I would recommend would be to purchase some step-up rings. Here's a 58 to 77 millimeter step-up ring. So all you have to do is to screw the step-up ring in front of your lens, and then if you wrap the flexible donut all around that lens, the step-up ring will keep it in place. So no matter if it breathes in, breathes out, the step-up ring will retain the flexible donut in place. So this is just a simple quick walk around to use a flexible donut on these old photo lenses. So all in all, those M42 lenses are cheap to buy. You can get something like a 50mm f1.4 for roughly $75–80 on eBay. Alright, so if I take as example my 50mm f1.4 lens here, the lens itself costs usually $75–80 on eBay. If we compare this to a Rokinon 50mm f1.5 lens, it's usually easily over $200. So if you take $80 for the lens, add a couple dollars for the EF mount adapter, the rear lens cap, a $10 gear ring here, the step-up ring, and the front lens cap. If you go up to $120 for all these extra additional accessories for that lens, you get a 50mm f1.4 lens for roughly $120. Still pretty much half the price of a Rokinon. Is this a perfect solution or a perfect replacement for a Rokinon lens? Absolutely not. But in terms of price, in terms of optical quality, these are really, really hard to beat. Personally, I'm really happy with the set I have. So all in all, if money is not an issue, then just grab a set of Rokinon lenses. Those are really, really great lenses. On the other hand, if you're on a tight budget, these M42 lenses can be a great alternative to the Rokinon or even the other cine lenses. What makes this set of lenses invaluable is the fact that the M42 mount can be easily adapted to either Canon, EF, Nikon, or even Micro Four Thirds mounts. So using one set of lenses that can fit 3 different camera bodies at once using just some simple cheap adapters, personally, this actually beats the Rokinon set of lenses hands down. Is this a perfect solution? Absolutely not. You need to buy the gear separately, you need to buy the adapters, you need to buy the rear lens cap, front lens cap, step-up rings. It's not a perfect solution, but for the number of lenses you get at the amount of price you pay for, personally, again, it easily beats down a set of Rokinon cine lenses. Alright, so let's do a quick shootout of these lenses. Alright, so first lens that's going to be tested is a 20mm Mir 20. It's an f3.5 lens. It's going to be stepped down at f4.0. So this is the 20mm f4.0, 1/48 of a second, 6 stop of ND filtration. Next is the 24mm f3.5 lens. So the 24mm f4.0, 1/48 of a second, 6 stop of ND filtration at ISO 850. Alright, next is the 28mm f3.5 lens. It's going to be stepped down at f4.0. So the 28mm f4.0, ISO 850, 1/48 of a second, 6 stop of ND filtration. Alright, next is the 35mm f2.0, not 3.5 as shown in the video. It's going to be closed down to f4.0. So the 35mm f4.0, 1/48 of a second, ISO 850, 6 stop of ND filtration. Alright, next is the 50mm f1.4. This lens is going to be stepped down to f4.0 as well. So the 50mm f4.0, ISO 850, 1/48 of a second, 6 stop of ND filtration. Next is the 85mm f1.9, quite a fast lens. This one is going to be stepped down to f4.0 as well. So the 85mm f4.0, ISO 850, 1/48 of a second, 6 stop of ND filtration. Next is the 105mm f2.8 lens. This one's going to be stepped down to f4.0 as well. So the 105mm f4.0, ISO 850, 1/48 of a second, 6 stop of ND filtration. Next is the 135mm. It's an f2.5 lens, stepped down to f4.0 as well. So the 135mm f4.0 ISO 850, 1/48 of a second, 6 stop of ND filtration. Next is the 150mm. This is a native f4.0 lens. So 150mm f4.0 ISO 850, 1/48 of a second, 6 stop of ND filtration. Alright, next is the 200mm native f4.0 lens as well. So the 200mm f4.0 ISO 850, 1/48 of a second, 6 ND stop of filtration. Alright, so next is the 300mm. This is as well a native f4.0 lens. This one is quite heavy, so I'm using one of those smaller rig lens support. So 300mm f4.0 ISO 850, 1/48 of a second, and 6 stop of ND filtration. Next, I'm going to use the same setup. 300mm f4.0 with the 2x extender. It becomes 600mm f8.0. So because the extender actually doubles your focal length, you also divide by 2 your apertures. So as we're shooting outside on a bright sunny day, it's no big deal. I'm just simply using less ND filtration. Alright, so when using a 2x extender like this, you're adding an extra piece of glass between your sensor and the lens. So as you can see, it's a little bit less sharp than the native 300mm. There's a bit of chromatic aberration. Honestly, that 2x extender costs roughly $30 for converting your 300mm lens up to 600mm lens. Alright, next on the list is the Sigma 18 to 200mm. It's an f3.5. This lens is actually my go-to lens. I've picked up this lens quite cheap on eBay. This is a Nikon lens, so I'm using an adapter that can actually control the aperture. So as you can see, this lens is quite versatile because you can get wide shot as well as zooming all the way through 200mm and get telephoto shots. You get pretty much every focal length into one lens. Finally on the list, the Sigma 10-20mm f4.0 5.6. Alright, this is not the fastest lens available, but for an ultra wide angle lens like this, I've paid it under $200 on eBay. This is quite a steal for ultra wide angle shots. So, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you have any comments, questions, please drop them in the section below. I will answer them as quick as possible. Feel free to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.